think the honorable thing for our species to do is deny our programming. Stop reproducing. Walk hand in hand into extinction. One last midnight, brothers and sisters opting out of a raw deal.
Do not trust any friends or family members. I repeat, do not trust
Sometimes. Mostly chocolate, too, which is just repulsive.
Oh, yeah, that smacking. There's two things I dislike.
It's sloshing around in there, you know? There's nothing you can do with it. It's melting, you know? Fucking...
There's an affliction amongst people who do like podcasting, and there's no cure for it. It's just a pure affliction. I've heard it in quality podcasts. I've heard it in shitty podcasts. And it's that sound that some mouths make, that click sound, like that dry click sound when they're talking. I don't know. You know what I'm talking about?
I know what you mean. If you were like
yeah,
if you're kind of like gargling while you like it's like yeah, I know what it is, but it's like some people have it a bit more often. It's just like almost like a sound, like the mouth's making natural sounds, and you can't stay them for the sake of speaking. It's just some people have that.
Yeah. So I can't abide that. I mean, I abide it because what am I supposed to do? Like, I'm going to go out on a limb and say it afflicts 10% of the population.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's just something that happens. And
Kate doesn't like when I chew anything without her eating at the same time.
Oh, that's interesting. You mean like just in general?
Yeah. Nah, fuck all. You go in there and start eating something, you're going to get side-eyed. What are you doing?
Wow.
What's happening? You chewing shit? Yeah, apparently it's a known thing. It's a
Well, it is a little gross. I don't know if I'd ever go that far. I kind of like when people are eating around me. You know, like it depends on.
Well, that's weird in the opposite direction.
Yeah, maybe it is. Like I don't welcome it. I don't be like, come in here, chew something. But
that's like I don't welcome it like I welcome feet. No.
Yeah,
that's not good at all.
We don't talk about my foot fetish here. Yeah. So anyway, I had a question for you about how did Come and See end up on your radar? How the fuck did we end up watching that?
I don't know. I you know what? I know what it was. I'm on IGN. My favorite place for I just think it's news that isn't important to anyone unless you like video games and movies. So it's news that's important to me, and it's nicer than regular news.
Yeah.
So I go in there, I read the news. Boom. What do we got here? We got IGN's top 10 list of war movies. And the fans, like the subscribers to IGN, they hate all the lists that these guys make. They hate them. They just go in and they hack on them in the comments and add other things that they missed. It's great. But these guys made a list, top 10 World War II movies.
Okay.
List. I'm going through the list. The list is pretty standard. Schindler's List, whatever you want on it. Saving Private Ryan. Inglourious Bastards comes a lofty 10, and then the other ones, Das Boot, very serious war movies, very serious. And then, boom, right there, smack number 3 maybe, Come and See. I said, what the fuck? Like, cause I don't consider myself a World War II aficionado or a knowledge junkie or anything like that, or historian like yourself. But I tend to dip in there. I'm interested in. Everyone should be interested in what the fuck that was. Yeah. So and I just thought that's odd. I mean, I should have at least heard of this. And then I read some horrific review. And I watched the trailer and I was sold. And I just texted you because I'm like, this is a very artsy movie right in the onset. The first 20 minutes I was like, okay, this is a special film. Like this is my genius friends must know about this film. And then I don't know, that's it.
I knew about it, as I said, and then,
that was good. That I figured that as much, at least that much, that you that have heard that it was out there. I was going to inflict it on us and I'm kind of glad I didn't. I think I made the right choice. I was going to try to inflict it on us for Christmas one year, because we usually do like a horror show, right? On Christmas. And I wouldn't have. I don't think I would have dapped into this as hard as I did if it wasn't beautifully available for free with full English subtitles on YouTube for some random reason.
Yeah, and real good quality. Yeah, nice
I was
stuff.
like, what a find, I don't know. So that helped.
Yeah. Yeah, so I don't know, maybe one day we can talk about that, but like fuck that what a movie. Like that's one of the greats. That's got to be one of the greats of all time. It makes sense to me for it to be on a list, and because it's like it's a fucking horror show, but it's also like an absurdist or like this surreal like I don't know, like something that you get like out of 50s or 60s new wave cinema or something like that, like some Ingmar Bergman shit. Kind of reminded me of, yeah, I think Ingmar Bergman is who I kept thinking of, but I wouldn't pretend. So anyone who doesn't know, it's like the Soviet film, and it's about this kid who in Belarus, I think that's right. It was made in 1985, but it was actually like in production, if I remember correctly, for a while. But the Soviet government was like, you can't put this out. But then the government weakened enough by 85 that I think they were able to put it out. And it's just this kid who gets swept up into the resistance in Belarus as the Germans are invading, and it's just as and those areas are what Timothy Snyder refers to as the Bloodlands, where mass killings were inflicted on a daily basis. People often think of when they think of the Holocaust, they tend to think of industrialized concentration camp murder, but most of the killing was done by hand or in a manner that we see portrayed in this movie. Like most of the mass killing was like you see in Come and See, and so it's just this kid, fucking slowly, God, that kid, turning into an old man before our eyes.
Yeah, that's what it's described as, horror, just horrifically aging from witnessing atrocities, and just like a sort of like line them up and shoot them all in the forehead type of execution.
Yeah.
Running through and with like a slow terror, like just and this is displayed, which is funny, which is sort of displayed in Inglourious Bastards, where they would send an officer and you'd cater to the officer, you'd give them all you had, you'd do whatever you needed to do just in hopes that they would kind of leave, and then they would sort of treat you with this like backhanded kindness, and then just sort of then you'd be executed. I don't know if that's true to form, but it's been seen and shown like that a couple of times in film.
Yeah,
but
it's probably watching it, like I have a bunch of sort of untouched, like most 40-year-old men, and like yourself, the interest in, we've always been interested in World War II. Of course we are, because like the Nazis are just like a fucking train wreck. But as I age, I find myself more and more wanting to like dip into the history more than I even have. And I resist the urge just because it's so stereotypical. So, but I don't know. Yeah, I'd be curious.
It's just an odd piece of it's an odd time. It's an odd piece of history. It's a. I mean, you'd like to think it's a never going to happen again scenario.
Yeah.
But.
No, but it happens every day. It happens all the time. Like it's just a sort of it usually isn't a world war when this shit happens. And that's one of the many unique elements to it. I'm going to fix it. I realized I hadn't turned off my Wi-Fi, and I don't trust my Wi-Fi. So I'm going to cut out for a bit, but I'll fix it in post, as they say. So just a second.
Not sure whether to be silent or.
I don't know. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm back. There we go.
I was going to start telling a story. Once upon a time. There was.
Yeah. Well, we can tell a story about Once
Nazis?
Upon a Time. I think. Well, we don't need to go that far. We could. Where do we want to start? Let's start our random roundup.
I think there's only one place to start, the pervious place.
Oh, Mr. Sinister?
I want him out of the way.
Yeah, okay, all right. So, yeah, fine. So I had purchased, so what do we got here? This is Kieron Gillen. So, Sins of Sinister. It was like a crossover event sort of amongst the X books. Started, when did this fucking comic come out? This one came out in May, I think. Looking for I guess it really doesn't matter. But it recently wrapped up, and I had purchased the wrap-up, which is called Sins of Sinister Dominion. So it was kind of nice to read the beginning of what is, like, Sins of Sinister Dominion is just the worst fucking comic. It's absolutely unreadable, trash. This comic, this Sins of Sinister #1, with Kieron Gillen, illustrated by Lucas Wiernick, and others apparently, not bad. I gotta give it some credit. It's not bad. It makes sense.
Yeah, it's okay, and it was neat, but it really felt more like a what if than anything else.
Yeah, which
like
is the
sort
point.
of like a silly little like little shatterings of like, what if he did this, or what if he manipulated this, or what if the whole agenda fell into place the way he wanted. But I just, I don't know.
Did you have enough information to understand this comic? And I'm not saying that to be like,
No, 100%
like,
not, because
I
don't have enough depth. I'm not knee deep enough into Krakoa lore here to know what the fuck they're doing with the plot right now.
I think
or
that's
with Sinister.
Yeah, that's a major failing of this comic, is like, even though I knew, what was going on. So basically, Sinister. So as we discovered in the Hawks and Pox, Moira McTaggart is revealed to be a mutant whose death sort of resets the universe. And so Sinister, it's been shown, has been, he cloned a bunch of Moira McTaggarts, so that way he could reset the universe. And he's been doing that over and over, and like sort of learning things, running a program, doing some research. But you don't, like, if this is someone picking this up for the first time, you don't know that. You kind of need to know that. You need to know a lot of things that this comic just doesn't tell you. Doesn't even try to tell you.
No. And that's what I mean. Like, the story was clear.
Yeah.
There were interesting things happening, but like,
Mhm.
I didn't have any inclination as to why or how we got here. And I mean, like, also that's saying something from someone who's read Hawks Fox and the first chunk of X-Men. So like, they're far astray from. I mean, I guess it's been quite a long time.
It's true, but it shouldn't be so. Like, it is, like, it's become so alien as a comic. I've complained about this on the podcast previously, and I'll complain about it again over and over. Like, these X-Men comics are unreadable in general. I keep throwing that insult at them, and I really mean it. Even by good writers, like, I don't know what they're doing. They're not accessible to anyone. They're not, and like, this is Kieron Gillen in this is like, like the way the X-Men comics are right now, the convolutedness of them, it somehow makes a good writer shittier. It's like because like, Kieron Gillen is okay. Like, if left to his own devices, especially if left to his own Sinister devices, he doesn't. He needs to just rein it in, man. Some of this dialogue and some of this behavior is just fucking stupid.
It's true, and it's and also, like, if you want to do something stupid and you want it to be a big event, that's cool with me. That's cool with any X-Men fan.
Mm-hmm.
But like, when you stretch it this far, like, this has gone on too long. So without having a body of like 600 books, I'm not capable of understanding what's happening. Like, I just, It's just it's dumb. Now you can't even make omnibuses about this. Like this is longer than the Sandman, and it's just an absolute circling toilet bowl.
Yeah.
It's like 10 trades per X property into this like just vortex of what like I feel like it's like a what if. It's worse than the Green Lantern.
Yeah, well, you're like you've called it a what if earlier, and you're right. Like it is almost literally a what if because Mr. Sinister it has he has those Moiras and he's exploring all these these alternative paths that he could take, and he's basically doing an invasion of the Body Snatchers kind of thing. And he's got Xavier and he's got Emma and he's got Hope and what's his name, Exodus, which is that's a serious group of people to have taken body snatched.
It's true, and also like especially when I'm not clear on Mr. Sinister's powers.
Yeah, well, at this point it's like, what powers do you want him to have? He's got them. Like I don't. Do you know what Mr. Sinister was supposed to be when Chris Claremont introduced him? Do you know what the goal was and the plan?
I'm not 100% sure, but I like from what I'll give you my own personal breakdown of Mr. Sinister just off the cuff, not having read anything to do with Mr. Sinister in decades. I thought he was like sort of a standalone genius who was a mutant gene splicer, who basically had like a cult following and was obsessed with the Summers family because of the way that their genes could be manipulated. Now, that's all I got.
Well, that's what it turned into. Like that, like it feel like it's a 3-step process. The first step was like Claremont did have it, so he was obsessed with the Summers brothers, or with Madeline Pryor, Jean Grey, all that stuff. But it was supposed to be revealed, and this got lost obviously because Claremont got shit canned. But it was supposed to be revealed that Mr. Sinister was like the psychic projection of a child. Like why else would he be called Mr. Sinister and look like a fucking super pervert? The idea was that he was just sort of a figment of an imagination of like some sort of super mutant, which might have been fitting. But you're right. And then later on, like when Lobdell and Fabian Nicieza and I don't know, just everybody else got a hold of him, it shifted to like he was that shadowy guy in the background, just always like sneaking up on the Summers brothers. And he didn't really have a purpose. Peter Milligan wrote kind of the origin story of Mr. Sinister, like as a 19th century geneticist or something, who eventually becomes Mr. Sinister. I have never read those. And then the third phase is Kieron Gillen, who decided that I don't know that this was going to be Mr. Sinister. Now he was going to be like some sort of like thing that has multiple bodies and is like kind of goofy and glam, and we've complained about it before. I'll complain about it again. I don't like it. Like
I don't care for it either. I am gonna, I'm gonna give a little edge to that sort of like funny glam multiple body thing. At least I'm getting a bit more of a power set, and also I'm getting like some type of characterization to the point where I could imagine him on a movie screen. And also like I couldn't come up with a better use for him. So if you're gonna use him, I mean, it seems like there's a vision for how he's gonna move and be portrayed and stuff, and that's unique. That's newer than what I've seen previously.
Yeah, I think what kind of puts me off him is like, okay, so there's the page. I think this is emblematic of just how Sinister as a character kind of is. So Storm gets all pissed off and she calls down lightning and she's like, abomination, and she flies off, and then Mr. Sinister's all bloody and he wipes his face and he says like, said as if it's a bad thing. And like, who the fuck says that? Like this gleeful, playful embrace of, like Snidely Whiplash villainy just for the sake of being a Snidely Whiplash villain. it like it's fine. It's kind of fun. It's cartoony. He's sort of a cartoony bad guy, but like maybe it's stupid to say, but I think that's a little too cartoony for my tastes. Like give me the grim and dourness of Apocalypse or Magneto or whatever, like that's the sort of register that I want from my X-Men comics, and to have this like if you're gonna have like a character who's this zany, like give me Mojo at least.
Yeah, it does feel a little bit like that. I know what you mean, we've got a like almost Elmer Fudd-ish, like too far down the cartoony bad guy tunnel, where it's like a bad guy from a Saturday morning kids show, and that's just confusing given the general tone of the Krakoa universe.
Yeah.
And also the level of power, the level of power in the council, and that's required to like have the Krakoa like idea moving. It to have it like dismantled by Bugs Bunny is just bizarre. And it doesn't make any sense, and they're just gonna wash this out of the way after. So it's like, why are we doing it? What exercise is this?
Yeah,
who's this for?
There we go.
No.
It's for X-Men fans, like this. I don't know what their numbers are nowadays, but like these books are, to my understanding, popular and remain so. I guess I have troubles with, fine, he's all cartoony and villainish or whatever, but he's also like super intelligent. Like he doesn't seem intelligent in any respect. He just feels like a shitty troublemaking magic user. I don't need him to be like bona fide genius, and I don't need the writer to talk about actual genetic splicing and stuff like that. This is, at the end of the day, people have magic powers. I don't know. It's just like it's all incongruous to me. Like I still don't get it. Like this, you're right. This is a character. This is something that someone's trying to do with Mr. Sinister. But I think because he was so amorphous, and there was always like he was always cloning new versions of the Marauders and stuff like that. Like he's always had this like massive power level. But then they also tried to make him a geneticist, and just all those things. It doesn't work. Like the package is bursting, and the Kieron Gillen is trying to like bring it all together in some sort of way. But yeah, I've just never liked it, and I think what makes it especially hard is that Jonathan Hickman clearly really did like it, and so now it's just like inescapable in the Marvel universe. Like it might have actually disappeared had it not been for the stamp, of these two particular writers.
Yeah, I think all he's achieving here is getting Jared Leto to play Mr. Sinister in real life.
Yeah.
And we all know that would be a mistake.
Yeah. Yeah, I was thinking like Johnny Depp or something like that. Someone really sorry, I'm just gonna eat a chip here. Yeah, I wasn't quite I was thinking about that when you said like on the screen. I was like, who would it be? Might be like a really like over the top Gary Oldman, maybe. Dracula. So I don't know. Fuck you for making me read this comic.
Yeah. I don't know why I bought it. I don't know what even drew it to me. I just thought I saw it there. All of my Moiras are gone. I don't know. I saw it there, and it was a beefy one, I was like, oh, this baby's got some meat on it. Sins of Sinister, you say? And I don't know what. I wanted to. You told me to stay away from the X-Men, and I did. And then I just thought, what's happening over here with Krakoa and the X-Men? And I went and I looked, and I'm sad that I did, because I could have got another issue of Spawn instead.
True. Batman Spawn. So actually, do we want to do we want ambassadors, or do we want to, or Batman Spawn? I don't really have a lot to say about
it's up to you.
Ambassadors.
You want to save? Let's save Batman Spawn.
Yeah,
So
because I think that's our main.
I got a
event
really
here.
cool cover, a Sean something.
For what, Ambassadors?
No, for Batman Spawn.
Oh, I don't know that cover. Like Sean Murphy or?
Yeah, that's who it is.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That's
You
probably
know
a really
Sean
great
Murphy?
cover. Yeah. He's actually, when we were we posed a question to our audience about like relevant, who's a good Batman artist that in the most recent eras, and Sean Murphy. Someone wrote us, and Sean Murphy was on the list, and I was like, fuck, kind of got us there.
Yeah, let's go talk about some Sean Murphy another time also. But anyway, I sent you the cover. Okay, so the Ambassadors, yeah.
Mark Millar, that is a nice cover. The Frank Quitely. Frank Quitely does the coloring on this as well. And then the only thing he doesn't do is the lettering. Old Clem Robbins does that. I find the coloring's a little dark, maybe a little too dark.
Yeah, my printing.
Line.
Did you get the? I got the second printing special edition of this.
Oh no, I got the first edition, bro.
The special edition just has some like Frank Quitely pencils at the back, I think.
Oh man, actually I kind of want that. I might get that too. Fucking some of the pictures in this are crazy.
Yeah, obviously this is. I mean, did you like this? You didn't care for it. I feel like it's very Mark Millar.
Yeah, it's kind of flat. Yeah, it's pretty flat for me. This whole Ambassadors thing, some of the series he's been doing, like he did Nemesis Reloaded, I found that pretty flat. Nightclub, I find that is awful. This Ambassador series is kind of mixed. I liked this issue because of the Frank Quitely art. I'm always gonna.
If he would have done 6 issues with Frank Quitely, this would have been an absolute rocket ship to the moon.
Yeah.
And he didn't, and I saw that the other artists that were involved, and I was like, well, I guess I'm done here with issue number 1.
Yeah. Although I will say issue number 4 is very good. It has really great art. It's just a different beast. But issue 4 is for anyone listening and they just kind of want to see what Millar's up to. Then it's I think what's the guy's last name? Olivetti. He does really great work with Mark Millar. They did the Magic Order, Volume 1.
You had recommended that to me.
Yeah, that's a banger. So anyway, this comic, it's I don't know, it's pretty Mark Millar. Basically there's this woman. She's unlocked the power of the secret of superpowers, and she's gonna give him to people or whatever. She's announced, that she succeeded in doing so.
I actually kind of like how she introduced herself too, by like saying that she was like broadcasting her mind into this new superpowered body, and she was doing so from a jail cell, and that basically no one could stop her, and then they ran to the jail cell. She was already killing herself by that point.
Yeah,
it was a very grand entrance into the story,
Yeah, and her husband's and also trying to make supervillains, and he's he's just with like this ripped open body, and he's a real like still a goddamn drama queen. I like that Millar's, he knows ex-husbands and ex-wives are a real theme within his work. There's simple relationship stuff. Like one of the worst things that it actually showed up twice. I was reading his Ultimates Part 2, I think it was basically like Ghost Rider story, Ultimate Ghost Rider, and it was it was fine. I don't need to talk about the plot or anything, but the worst thing that could happen to a Mark Millar male character is to discover that your wife has moved on with another man and is having more sex with them. Like Millar really loves to dig that in, and I just think that's
and you know what? That's such a great place to be.
Yeah. No, it's
that's a feeling. You as soon as you come of age where you're having those kind of adult sexual relationships and you lose that very first girlfriend and you just ride that exact train into fucking nausea land, and it's just fucking shitty.
Yeah. And so like, and he'll just nod to it, like no one, he never bothers to go through the emo elements of that.
No,
Right?
no one wants to go there either. But he just, like, I don't know, for whatever reason, it gives you that gross feeling in your gut.
Yeah.
And just makes the story just come out more human. He did it. He does it with the authority even.
Yeah.
Not that exact thing, but he adds that relationship dynamic, that breakup, that uncomfortable relationship in the room even. Like, I don't know what the guy doesn't like relationships.
No, he's happily married, is to my understanding. Like he just knows what, like his major skill. He has many talents, and I'm happy to always talk about them because I read way too many Mark Millar comics. Is just well, here's a good example. The monkey, right? At the beginning, which this is kind of a two-part comic. What the fuck is with the monkey at the beginning, and then also all this like the government was always trying to make superhero programs, but they never succeeded. Like it kind of just gets dropped off, and I'll tell you right now, it doesn't get picked up again later.
That's a little odd.
It might in issue 6. We're gonna get issue 6 next week. This was a bi-weekly feller. But anyway, the monkey, he gets picked up. So the monkey's got like superpowers. He's drinking, I don't know, pop, something. I guess, because it's 1986. He's in Mexico.
Smashed into the Coke machine, yeah.
Yeah, refresco. And so this dude shows up, and what does he say?
He offers the monkey some Skittles.
Yeah.
Chill out and come back home.
Well, but not just that. It was like, would you like to get back to the big orange pen and we'll play your favorite Simple Minds album? And then the monkey looks at him and, and then he quizzes him. He's like, Sparkle in the Rain or New Gold Dream? And actually, I was thinking Once Upon a Time. Good man. And like, that's such a needless pop culture reference, but that's so Mark Millar as well. Like, remember when the Hulk is like, Hulk smash Freddie Prinze Jr. Like he doesn't. It's all these cheap tricks to try and like just make it real or make it like literally pop,
or just grounded in your understanding of pop reality at the time, and it works. It works every time.
Yeah, it does.
Even gives you a little chuckle. It gives you a little something. And I love the heads up display from the monkey. Looks at him. Yeah. And gets like the RoboCop vision.
Yeah, do not harm.
Not able to harm. Yeah.
Otherwise. Well, yeah, and there's also like, again, it's Frank Quitely's art is so he always frames everything at a distance, like it's, and this is actually, I was thinking about Juan Jose Rip, how his work is a lot more pulled in. But even though there's similar, like there's not a lot of similarities to. There's no one like Frank Quitely, but I'm just talking about like in terms of like framing. Quitely's work it's at a distance, and so like even in that Do Not Harm image, like there's that mask wearing guy in the background. Like you're getting all the information you need, but you're like everything's at weird angles and just a little further than other artists would dare to draw, because like he just shows you everything and doesn't seem to really cut any corners and is able to like pick some weird angles, pick some good weird distances.
It's true, you can go in tight, but I mean, like I've been introduced to the entire landscape and / country. That's not something normal artists can do. Any real artist, even Rip, bless his soul in his glorious Wolverine run, but I don't like I know, like I was in the White House, I was in China, I was in Mexico, I damn well was, because you could have done that without telling me where I was, because this art was crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, it's always a shame. He just doesn't do. We've talked about this a lot. It's just always a shame that Frank doesn't do more work. Because and I know this. I know the medium is lost on him, or like he's lost on the medium. What's the phrase I'm looking for? Like basically he's wasted here. Like he can make money elsewhere, but like this is yeah, this is where his skill lies. This is it. Um, yeah. Anyway, pretty cool, pretty interesting little opening. I like
Yeah, a
the
little.
ending.
I like the Willy Wonka thing too. I like that the idea is dumb and simple, and he's just gonna plate it to you that way. I'm giving out superpowers. All you gotta do is come and tell me why you deserve them.
Yeah, that's another
And then
thing
it's
that
just like
Millar.
you're like,
Yeah.
that's a cheesy idea, but then
Mhm.
but then there are more complex things happening in the background, but he's gonna plate the initial idea to you like you're a dummy, and it's just it is a dumb idea, so that's funny too. It's just this, I don't know. He's
Yeah, yeah.
operating around a weird self-awareness as well.
Yeah, and that's his that we'll put that on the list of his skills as well. Like he just picks incredibly simple projects. Like he's no Alan Moore, he's no Grant Morrison, he's not even a Warren Ellis. Like um there's an idea here, but it's not like he's not an ideas man in any sort of like philosophical way. He's an ideas man in a uh, come and like I don't know what I'm trying to say here. Like just like come and look at this thing, 2 bits a gander. Like come look at this. Um, and yeah, I mean it served him extremely well. And another I've said this as well, but all of his books he's become the master of the twist. And so I'm waiting for the twist at the end of issue 6. I'm sure there's going to be like, remember that thing? Oh, he's pretty good at that now. He doesn't always do it extremely well, but he sometimes he fucking nails it.
It's true. It's true. Even this book too had some like great little funny things too, like the let me get this straight. She isn't going to give this to the military. She's not trying to make money. You only have to be nice. That's about the size of it, sir. Terrifying.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then he introduces obviously the cool guy, where we get to see the insides of people's heads.
Oh, what they do at the end?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So again, he doesn't show up again until issue 5, I think. Like the problem with having these like varied artists is like I forgot this guy existed, and I still don't have any clue about him. I think he was like the original superhero from the original superhero project. I think that's the thread here. He's the one that was the successful product.
Right.
Because I think he's dressed like the monkey is dressed. No, he's not. Kind of is.
Just wearing a
But yeah, the way
windbreaker.
he deals with these guys, again, getting back to, this is me, this is you shitting yourselves. That's your cocks turning inside out. There's your eyes rolling back, and like illustrated in just beautifully. Just mounds of shit inside these like security guys. And then no other comics artist. Well, not no other comics artist, but like just those caved in heads, man. You can't get that anywhere else.
No,
You
that's awful.
tend not to. Yeah. And
I'm
it's
looking
like,
at it. I'm looking at the pencil work on it. It's just something.
yeah. And I don't know, like, and what is striking about it is like your mid squish. Like it's not the finished product. It's somehow he's managed to capture like what the squish looks like as it's happening, where there's still like chunks exploding everywhere and hovering in midair, and yeah,
Yeah, that's a great choice.
yeah,
I mean, if he can do it, do it.
yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. I don't know. I'm happy I have this book, and
Yeah.
I'll probably just stay right there. and
Yeah,
just enjoy my magic moment.
yeah. I don't recommend going any further. It's fine. They really went. Now that I'm looking at it, they filled this comic all the way the fuck up though, because even the back page it's the back cover. You know, like the final, or at least in this. Sorry, yours is the collected, so maybe it's different. But this comic, the final flap, you know, the back end of the floppy. Usually there's an advertisement at the back, but it's actually the last comic panel. And then you turn the page, and you know the book's done. It's
yeah,
really
it
cool.
does. It really felt great. I mean, I just love Frank Quitely. Everybody who doesn't. I mean, if you don't, you gotta find him, and check him out. But it's just so cool to see him work, and even if it's just one book, I'm happy to see it. Whatever.
Yeah. And we'll get some more later at some point, I'm sure.
Yeah, because we're gonna do the Authority eventually, probably.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, well, for sure.
But you refuse to do that, I believe, unless we did Stormwatch.
No. If we're gonna do Mark Millar's Authority, that's a way different beast. But I was thinking that if we were gonna do Warren Ellis's Authority, it kind of seems pointless without doing Stormwatch, just because I don't think that original run on, and well, this might be the case with Mark Millar's run as well. Like I don't know what there is to talk about in those comics. Like it's pretty much exactly what you see on the tin, which is like watch big fights explode. You know, like I might be wrong. We've managed to talk. I'm always surprised by how much we can talk about fucking anything. So maybe I should shut my mouth. But it just doesn't feel like covering those first 12 issues of the Authority. We'd have
yield anything.
Yeah, a full meal, but maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. I guess the worst that could happen is that we don't have a full meal. Anyway, speaking of not having a full meal.
I was going to do the opposite. Speaking of getting my belly full of the Todd father.
Yeah. So I do think you're right, James. You asked me if they were going to do more of this, and like reading this comic, yeah, they set up like a sequel essentially. So I guess Todd's going to be in charge at that point. Like, who knows if he'll do the art?
Let him go.
Yeah.
He's not doing the art.
So Batman Spawn, he inked this one.
How did he score Greg?
He has Greg on retainer, is my understanding. I don't think Greg's exclusive to DC, and I think he keeps Greg on retainer for like stuff. And they were business partners for forever. I think they have a special relationship. So I feel that that's what happened. Also, this. Well,
I mean, like, there's if you check out the right in the inside cover, there's a variant covers by.
Yeah.
And you got the fucking the gallery of Image in there. J. Scott Campbell, Brett Booth. Haven't seen him out in a long time. Jim Lee. Todd himself. Yeah.
You know what I was disappointed in? Colors by Dave McCaig or whatever, and I was like, well, where the fuck's FCO Placencia? Where's our boy, the only guy who knows how to properly color Greg Capullo?
I don't know.
Yeah, but oh well.
Huh.
It's just a little sad about that. So
yeah, thanks for giving us a meh palette, Dave.
Yeah, not bad. Don't get me wrong, but I think this comic was terrible. I don't know what the fuck.
Oh, this was unreadable.
Yeah, there we go. What the fuck?
This is like a teenager wrote it.
Yeah. And shamelessly, like Todd, I love to talk about Todd. That was another reason I went and bought this comic. I had skipped it, but then when I found out you bought it and you wanted to talk about it, I was like, I'm just going to go walk down the street.
I'm going to shamelessly buy this.
Yeah.
Have the comic guy raise his eyebrow at me.
Oh, I was fortunate. It was like,
buddy.
Yeah, it was like the girl at the counter. I usually don't deal with her, so she didn't know my regular habits that I'm.
And she was like, "Oh, Spawn, great."
Just enjoy. Which I read it. It was, I don't even know where to begin. I guess I'll begin by saying that like, it is fucked up that this book equates Spawn, what's Spawn's character's name? What's his real name?
Al Simmons?
Al Simmons. Al Simmons' wife, Wanda, like the loss of Wanda with Batman's mom, like the Martha Wanda parallel. It's not even really a parallel. But
yeah, that is weird because it would be your primary love interest versus your mom.
Yeah.
which would then insinuates that Bruce Wayne's primary love interest is his mom, which just sort of like takes us down a very odd path, like a Pornhub path.
Yeah. And it's just left in the background.
It's true. Yeah, it's just left there for you to be like, this is how I paralleled these two characters. Just suck on that.
Yeah, and they died on the same. Like, and I don't like. There's no. Similarly to the Sins of Sinister thing. Like, this comic it doesn't hold your hand, and like, actually, I kind of appreciate that. I've often said in the past that I don't want a book to hold my hand. I don't want it to I want to be a little confused. I'm pretty comfortable being confused. You just
feel like Todd has no ability to do anything other than confuse you. So
maybe that's
you
it.
You don't think that this is going in any kind of a direction where there'll be like a return that's not diminishing.
Yeah, that might be. You might be nailing right on the head. So yeah, it's like the day that Bruce Wayne lost his parents, and then he gets called to Crime Alley or whatever, and he gets there, and I fucking hate the Court of Owls. You get that shit out of my face. Then Spawn comes in.
Yeah, I'm surprised that Todd wanted to use them.
I think he's never met a bad idea that he didn't just want to make sweet love to. And maybe with Capullo involved and like that Scott Snyder era of Batman, maybe he felt obliged. I'm not sure. There was a callback to the original Batman Spawn story. When Chris and I were talking about it, we commented on how Batman like introduces himself to Spawn by like kicking him, like drop kicking him in the back. And I wondered if it was on purpose that Spawn attacks Batman by first drop kicking him in the back.
I hope so, or I think so.
I feel it was intentional.
Also, I like how the whole plot line hinges on them both having this death at the same time and then being sort of duped into battling. But that's all just sort of like instantly dismissed in like a Blade movie sort of way, where he's just like, oh, it wouldn't be the first time they mess with the timelines. That's what I'm getting.
Yeah, I guess so. Like, yeah, Batman.
You can't manipulate time. No, that's never been established at anywhere at any point in time. But that's what we're using to drive this narrative. Okay.
Yeah, and for whatever reason, there's like in Crime Alley, there's like an invisible line. Like throughout this whole comic, there's all these invisible lines where, for reasons I don't understand, and like it's not really given explanation, not given satisfying explanation. If you cross that path, like Spawn loses his powers. So it's like the two universes have intersected literally, somehow melded together, and there's like actually a line between the universes where like if Spawn goes over to Batman universe, he loses his powers. And then if Batman goes to the other side, nothing happens. He stays Batman.
That's the glory of him being human.
Yeah.
Which I don't know is, for whatever reason, is also very important and on display, but not explained.
I like being human. Yeah. So did I. And it's the dialogue is just the worst. And so much of it, so much talking. Not as bad as actually, and why? Okay. And then the Joker, he's reverting to that, wearing his own flesh thing, like he's ripped off his own face. And I know it's stupid, but like looking at his fleshless face as he's talking, I was like, he can't talk this much without lips. I tried reading his dialogue without any lips. Didn't work. I'm not gonna perform that for you.
I was about to, but I'll just stop myself also.
I hear, and I have a lot of comments, Spawn. And you're like, okay.
And if you're gonna do that, just write it like be a man, be like Garth, be a man.
Yeah.
Todd.
Yeah.
Write it like Arseface dialogue.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And let us enjoy ourselves trying to decipher it.
And so, yeah, I don't know. The art looks great.
Oh man, without Greg, there would have been no place to even hunker yourself down and even partially enjoy this.
Yeah. And they're so stupid. Okay, so here's some dialogue in that 2-page spread, which just looks amazing. I'm sorry, I should be more specific. 2-page spread where Spawn and Batman are on a roof, like they're both looking kind of heroic or whatever. Batman's dialogue. Your wife Wanda, what was her maiden name? And then Spawn's like, what? First of all, that's a simple question, dude. Her last name, before she was married, like. Everybody knows what a maiden name is. What is this dialogue? She never changed her name. Fine, just tell me her name. Blake. Her name was Wanda Blake. You hear me call that name? Be ready. For what? Just be ready. You're like, that's not a regular conversation between two people.
No.
Yeah, and it just happens over and over and over.
It's also confusing. How is he supposed to be ready? He's always ready.
Yeah, ready for what?
You may as well just have ended it with that. I'm always ready.
Yeah. The end. Yeah.
It's just bad because I hear you have a lot in common, Spawny. You and I.
Oh,
I like when things are balanced. He's just like saying things like it's like people are talking the plot to you.
Yeah. Yeah, or they're giving hints at, like, here's some more stupid shit to come in the future. Like all those little Joker Violator guys show up. And then yeah, we're going to be in, like, another universe in the other side. There's some sort of, like, one of Martha's pearls is some sort of magic portal or something like that. I don't know.
And since when does, like, random owl guy end up being stronger than Batman and Spawn? Like, that's not established. It doesn't make sense. It's not.
Yeah, that's the least of our concerns, but I hear you. I definitely hear you on that.
It's also annoying. It's just annoying. It doesn't.
Yeah, I feel that way about the Court of Owls in general, like just the Talon, and I don't know, just like it was such an ill-conceived idea. It was just so dumb. It was the worst thing Scott Snyder ever did, and for some reason it just never died.
Yeah, and we're gonna relive it
just over and over and over. When we get to issue 2, yeah. Oh yeah, fuck! I just realized when Spawn/Batman stabs that dude, whoever that fucking guy is, I don't even remember who that guy he stabs. It's fucking Bullseye stabbing Elektra. It's the exact same fucking pose. It's a weird homage right there.
Yeah, he's like the head of the Court of Owls at one point or whatever.
Yeah, right, okay. But what the fuck? Because that whole image is supposed to be like a stand-in for rape, right? And to homage it right here is just like it's just really weird. But it's a straight up mimic. Yeah, I didn't even get that.
That's true. That's interesting.
Yeah, that's all you can say over and over. Just a lot of interesting choices.
But then maybe that's perfect as Batman rolls up on the scene and goes, "Al, what have you done? You've made me seem like I raped this guy."
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, and that's another thing. It's just like, and now they're gonna know that Batman kills people. I helped you. You're just like, he's like, I don't need your help, and like, kind of doesn't.
Also, that's not really great for Batman's image.
Yeah, I kind of resent it. Like, this whole comic. Well, not the whole comic, but okay. So there's one of those invisible magic lines at Arkham is revealed to be at Arkham, and it's kind of implied that like that's why Arkham's kind of so fucked up because it's on a Lee line or whatever. And one way of thinking about it, and I'm like, okay, well that's actually kind of a fun idea, but then it also wants to sort of fix Batman. I think because to Todd's mind, it really doesn't make sense. Like without the threat of death, why would anybody be afraid of anything? And least of all the Batman. I think that is implied in this approach. I don't think Todd understands. I don't think. Sorry, that was going to be a really stupid sentence. I don't think Todd understands fear. But I don't think he. It's like he's a sort of apologizing for the way Batman's written, and like I don't know. Something.
I like where you're landing on this.
Yeah.
I don't know. I thought Todd's art was great. Not Todd, sorry.
Yeah.
Greg, and that's really it. Like the rest was, what's funny though? I don't know if I would call it horrible. It was kind of fun. Like
yeah.
And I think I would probably if I see a number 2, probably gonna go for it.
Yeah, I think I share that. I resisted buying this because I had already read. I felt that
you
I
probably got the sample and then you were like, no. Like,
no, just in general, I just like we did this back in 1992, right? Like we already got lots of Batman Spawn, and I was like, I don't really need to go there again.
And you got it from like better teams.
Yeah. But then again, did we? Like Frank Miller and Todd McFarlane, like that comic's pretty terrible.
It's true. Yeah. This Frank's. Frank.
I haven't read the Chuck Dixon, Doug Mensch, Alan Grant one with Klaus Janson art. We should probably if we're gonna do it, we should probably we're gonna say that we've read all the Batman Spawn, and I would like to be able to go into my grave saying that I've done that.
Me too.
I think we should go there and just see who the best is. I got a feeling that one's probably the best one in terms of craft.
Where the fuck am I gonna get that? I didn't even know that was a thing.
Oh, it's on. Well, you can get it on. I think it's on Hoopla actually. You can get like the two for one. You'll get the Batman Spawn and the other one. Pretty sure it's on there.
Jesus.
Yeah, man. Get anything you want. Well, after this thing came out, they did a bunch of re-release on the old ones, which makes sense.
Smart.
Yeah.
That's how Todd rolls.
Yeah, I wonder what the sales were on this. I didn't look it up. I bet it was a massive success, especially at this price point. Like this was.
It was a reasonable price in like a mini graphic novel format. Really enjoyed it. But cover to cover, fucking Capullo, you can't go wrong. You can't go wrong, even if it's bad.
Yeah.
Doug Mensch, Batman Spawn.
There it is, War Devil.
What if this is fucking amazing?
Well, I mean, then we benefit.
Borrowing.
Yeah, there you go. All right, we'll cover that too. So yeah, I think this is another case of the Ambassadors, where like the story's all right. I feel like it's kind of doesn't even make any fucking sense, but it's fine. But you show up for the art, and I don't know. There's worse reasons to show up for things. So.
Yeah, and I don't know. Todd, I don't know. Todd just knows his Spawn.
He sure does. After like over 300 issues, he certainly does.
He's got something to show us, and he's gonna do it.
I'm still like baffled by, there's no sense harping on it, but he's just like, he's still 20, like he's still 18. I never want to talk to him in real life. Like I never want to be in a room with him, like stuck for any like extended period of time. That would be insufferable. I guarantee it.
I'd love to watch him do a TED talk.
Oh my goodness. Yeah.
Just let him go. Let him tell us about the world.
I
want to tell us about creative process. Tell us how to be successful like him. Wouldn't that just be a fucking just be in awe?
Yeah, the thing is, he'd never do that because he couldn't make a buck off of it.
Oh Jesus!
Like he doesn't know.
That's nice.
And like, I don't say that to be a super dick. I feel that that's an accurate statement. Like that's not Todd. That's not the Todd father's behavior. Like, you want a piece of Todd, you're gonna have to pay it. Todd's gonna own it. He's gonna own that experience. He's gonna own you.
Wow.
Yeah. Still though, you're right. I would read or watch. There's got to be stuff out there with Todd just running his fucking mouth. that's one.
Yeah, that's true. There, unless, like you say, unless he's just got the market cornered on himself.
Yeah, that's really like. We should all be so lucky to corner the market on ourselves. I think that maybe in today's day and age, that's really that's where virtue lie. Once upon a time we used to speak of wisdom, and now we speak of.
Wait a sec.
You got something?
Todd McFarlane, San Diego Comic Con, 36 minutes.
Oh, okay. Well, shut our mouths then.
That's going to be more than enough for anybody to soak in.
Yeah. Yeah, I wonder what he has to say. I think
it's like it's like an exclusive.
Okay. Well, anyway, Batman Spawn, pretty all right, pretty fine. Not funny, I think maybe I was hoping that it was gonna like suck so bad that it would just be hilarious, but it just kind of sucked and had great art.
Yeah, well, I mean that's exactly what I expected, but.
Yeah, I thought it was gonna be worse. I think we've already said because reading Spawn comics. Like issue 200, 300, all that stuff that we did, like those comics are hilariously bad, and this was fine. It was just fine. It wasn't good. Like it wasn't great. It wasn't. It was for like a 12-year-old, which maybe was the audience that.
On the back, it actually says 13 plus.
Oh well, there you go.
I think you actually
nailed
fucking
it.
hit it. Nailed it.
Yeah. All right.
Oh.
Well, if you're listening and you're over the age of 13, this comic may be for you. If you're 12, what the fuck are you doing, kid? Get to bed.
That's right. Don't listen to this.
Yeah. Don't listen. Don't end up like us. Go stay in school.
Now, all we need is a little energon and a lot of luck.